Between 2008 and 2012, the CEO of one of the world's largest private prison firms earned $22 million in compensation. This is according to the Securities and Exchange Commission. CEO of private prison firm GEO Group, George Zoley, now ranks as one of the top earning government workers. In 2012, Zoley earned $6 million from the taxpayers, 15 times more than the President of the United States. Now, you think that's crazy. It gets even worse. As of 2012, these firms had spent $45 million to lobby for laws that benefit their bottom line over the course of a decade, including increased incarceration. So what they do is they try to get lawmakers, they give lawmakers money, and they try to get them to pass these crazy things. So, for example, they tried to tweak the immigration laws, and they successfully did it. And now, instead of just, if you find an immigrant that just crossed the border, instead of just sending them back over like we used to do, you take them and you lock them up for a couple months. What does that do? That puts money in the pocket of the private prison industry. Also, they have quotas now. Quotas for to fill up a prison and quotas for arrests. Again, this is a way to try to guarantee that they make more money and it's more steady income for the private prisons. And also, it was in California, they're the ones that push for the 3 strike laws. What is it? I think 3 felonies of any degree, and you're locked up for life. I mean, isn't that amazing? It could be a minor felony, but if you do it 3 times, you get caught 3 times, boom, you're locked up for life. That was lobbied for by the private prison industry. And there's so many aspects to this that are just beyond fucked up. Like, they're just like, it's almost like a joke how ridiculous the system is. Because, for example, it's called the private prison industry, but it's funded all by public dollars. Just instead of having a public prison that has to abide by public regulations and rules, they made it so that, no, they're private, so they don't have to abide by the public regulations and rules, but they're still going to get public dollars. Okay, where I'm from, that's not private. If you're taking government money, you're a public institution. That's kind of how it works by definition. But no, they call it private, and they let them get away with almost anything. And the original idea was, hey, these things will save us money. Okay, that's why we're going to do them, because the public prisons, too costly, so we'll do it privatized, and they'll do it for less. Well, what happened now? They haven't been keeping track of this stuff. And there's been some research done that indicates that private prisons actually cost more. And that's not surprising either when you hear stuff like this. How can somebody taking taxpayer dollars at a private prison, the CEO, earn $22 million? That's all out of my pocket and your pocket. We didn't approve of that. We didn't sign off on that. That's madness. The guy who's the head of a private prison, a random private prison company, is going to make 15 times more than the President of the United States? What are we, fucking insane here? I mean, the way, look, it has been understood for a very long time by, you know, all of the great societies and all the modern societies that one thing that you never privatize is prisons. You also never privatize militaries, because militaries, then it's a mercenary army and it's warlord factions that could try to overthrow your centralized government. It just doesn't work. It's not possible for that to work properly. You can't get a good result out of it. And the reason why it doesn't work with prisons is now you've put a profit motive in putting people in jail. So wait a second, what if it's a slow crime year and people aren't really committing that many crimes? Well, that's fantastic. That's great, right? Not to the private prison industry. They like it when you commit crimes. They like it when they have a reason to lock you up. They like to take away people's freedom because they make a buck off of it. There's a really perverse incentive there, and for the longest time, we understood that, yeah, that's not an area you want to privatize. But of course, we lost our minds in the U.S. This is the crisis of deregulation and the crisis of privatization.